Hello and welcome to the 53rd Annual Bureau of Mines Bolorama and Horse Auction. Today we have this beautiful example of Soviet engineering with us, a single-use mask made for aircrew people who are falling from planes too fast to put on their other mask.
Sure, why not? So what we actually have here is a Joint Service Chemical Environment Survivability Mask, which doesn't really have a phonetically translatable acronym, so we're just going to call it the JSEM, even though it does not pronounce like that. So the M52 JSEM was part of an ongoing program to provide personnel that would not normally be issued with any sort of protective mask with a means of quickly escaping a chemical environment in order to basically just get the fuck out of there, as you see. And
The instructions are on the bag.
the instructions are on the bag. It comes with its own little pouch, and it's made to be as lightweight and disposable as possible. It's literally just an escape mask. There's not really much to say about it other than it's just a military-issued Seaburn escape mask.
It folds up into this nice little pouch that you can wear on a belt or carry with you.
Or rather, it was meant to be folded up in there, but once you open it, you're not really supposed to put it back in there because you're supposed to just wear it once and then get the fuck out.
Yeah, no sir, this horse does not fit back in the bag, as they say.
It's a one-trick pony, if you will.
Yes. It's actually fairly comfortable. It's got a rubber neck seal and an oral nasal cup and obviously two straps that you tighten. I don't believe there's any valvage in it.
There is, but it's a very awkward setup. So, obviously you have this big fuck-off clown harmonica on the front, which comprises the entirety of the filter, and then on the back of the filter housing assembly are two vents which would comprise the outlet valve, which are sort of down on the bottom there, as you can see. There's one on the other side as well. There would probably be an inlet valve inside the mask. I've not actually taken a closer look on the inside, but presumably there would be inlet and outlet valves to obviously prevent any sort of fogging of the interior. What really kind of surprises me, and what they should have actually done, this would be a lot better of a design, is if they had the outlet vent into the hood so it would be positive pressure, although I can see why they didn't, because that would cause fogging, but I digress.
Yeah, it's very simple. It bears a lot of similarity, obviously, to the escape hoods that Congress used during a recent conflagration of various political parties in the United States. And it's basically the same thing. You put it on, you leave the room. Hopefully, the room is the only thing that has problems in it, and once you're outside of the room, you take the mask off.
Or you wear it until you can get to an aid station where you can be deconned and probably seek better protection.
Yeah. The hood's some weird.
It's like a chemically resistant plastic material.
Yeah, it's not Gore-Campac or anything fancy. It's kind of a chemical tarp.
The lens is obviously also a very thin, crinkly plastic, much like the rest of the hood. At the inner oronasal cup, I'm not sure entirely what it's made out of. I haven't handled it all that much, but I presume it'd be some sort of silicone rubber. If not, probably some sort of natural rubber. That tends to be that tends to be what these things are typically made out of. So, not really much to say about that. But obviously, it has a rubber inner mask, and then the filter is mostly just polymer. Probably not nylon. They can't really afford to get all that durability, so it's probably just some sort of. I'm not going to get into specifics and assume things, as certain people on this health site do.
Yeah, like assuming that it's malfunctioning because you can't breathe through it because you're an idiot. I will say kudos to the designer because when it's folded up, it's very portable, and yet the oral nasal cup does not deform at all.
Yeah, that was the weird thing. It does not. The oronasal cup, for how tightly this thing is jam-packed in that little bag, it isn't really any worse for wear.
So whoever you are, great job, and the MCU and the M40 departments would like to speak to you.
God almighty, yeah, honestly. It is a little bit lackluster in terms of design. For instance, obviously these aren't made to be recycled, but I don't know. I just feel like there's just a few design choices that are quite questionable. Namely, the design of the head harness system, where, I mean, for one thing, it's not even elastic. It's just a mil-W-17337 3/4 inch nylon strap with absolutely zero elastic, and the buckles are mounted with a folded over rubber strap on either end, which I presume would comprise most of the elastic function of the harness. But it works, I guess, but it's not the greatest. But then again, you're not really feeling all that much because it's over a hood, so what have you.
Yeah, and I mean, it's fairly comfortable. If you are a politician or some kind of mid-level secretary who doesn't do anything cool and doesn't wear a mask very often, this. You can wear your glasses under it. It's reasonably comfortable, and you know it's not a mask made for mask users. It's a mask made for the guy who, in all other circumstances, would not have one.
Which pretty much just means like guys in rear areas, like desk jockeys and office people.
Yeah,
in
I'm
the
sure.
military.
I'm sure the Pentagon has like stacks of these bitches.
Yeah, but there really isn't too much else to say about the design. It's kind of what it is. I don't really know what else I can add to it other than its prior development, I suppose. There was quite a few contenders for what could have been the M52. One of them was the ILC Dover DERP, which was actually what it was called, which stood for Disposable Eye Respiratory Protection, which I can't really describe it all that well. It wasn't nearly as bulky as this thing looks. It sort of had an integral filter pad, if I recall correctly. There might have been a couple different design iterations to the DERP, but that was essentially one prototype that came before this thing that was tested during the 80s. But there was quite a few escape masks that were contending for what would eventually become the M52. But this thing has so far won out, and I don't think they're really replacing it. Anything aside from this would probably just be whatever is available on the commercial market, such as Avon's escape hoods or the ILC Dover escape hoods, which were, as you mentioned, used by members of Congress during the quote-unquote uprising.
That's being generous to call it that, but yes. Yeah, there is a history of these hoods being developed. You have the Potomac, not to be confused with the Potmic, but the Potomac smoke escape masks. Several Japanese firms, and Draeger, and MSA, and just about anyone who can figure out how to put a filter on a plastic bag, including the Viet Cong, has experimented with this basic concept of put a neck seal on a filter with a hood so that people can escape from smoke or other problems. The concept of smoke hoods has obviously been around just about as long as gas masks. Garrett Morgan's device was a smoke hood.
And honestly, even if we're really pushing the envelope here, as far back as ancient Egypt, when you had very primitive pads and hood designs that were meant to protect against nuisance dust and minor smoke and mining.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a very simple concept, and the fundamental concept of if we seal it around the neck, we don't have to do weird stuff on the face. The mechanical simplicity has made this a very old design, and it's still fairly effective these days.
Yep. But nowadays, in terms of CBRN protection, the sealing full face mask is pretty much the way to go in all areas of the field, except for escape, which is where you'd want where you want the majority of the focus to be universal sizability without much thought into if it seals or not. You want to be able to get it right on the first time and get the hell out.
And I guess as a final comment, unless you have anything else.
Nope, that's all for me, really.
Okay. The only final comment to this is there are some companies that are selling gas mask filters claiming that they turn gas masks into smoke hoods. Mira! And I don't understand why you would do that. There's plenty of these commercially available. It is far easier to teach a child how to put on one of these than it is to teach a child how to put on your shitty fucking 5-point dog shit mask made of sketchy rubber and using Russian filters. If I had children, or dogs or something, I would put them in this, or even a similar commercially cheaper one, than I would try to teach them how to use a full face respirator. Because kids are fucking dumb.
And I don't trust them with nice shit.
No, absolutely. Yeah, you give them like a CM6, they're gonna like fuck up the lens or something, or like spray paint it and like make TikTok videos. I don't know. Kids are fucking terrible.
They really are, and I hope I never have to deal with them. But nevertheless, this is a very interesting hood that are very common on the surplus market, and that's really all it is.
Yep. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode about the bastard child of the M50 series.
And if you didn't, we don't really care either way.
And as a final note, if you're watching this live at the Bureau of Mines convention, horse meat is on sale at aisle 7. Thank you.